Hi everyone, it is Alex with Holistic Movement Pilates. Today I have a full body workout for you on the reformer. We are going to use a box, so go ahead, grab a box for a prop. We are going to use it right away. So our setup will be foot bars just all the way down. Our short boxes are gonna go onto our reformers. Before you put your short box on, you're gonna add on a heavy spring on your reformer. I'm gonna take 1 foot, I'm just gonna push my carriage away, and then my short box is gonna rest up against the platform that's closer to my foot bar, and then my carriage is gonna rest up against it, so it's not on the carriage. So if you can see, my carriage is free to move here. And then once you get yourselves set up, we're gonna start with just like a posterior body, so the back side of the body warm up, and then after that, we're gonna get into a full body workout today. So we're gonna start today actually lying on our stomachs on our boxes, facing the foot bars. When we get down, I'm gonna go ahead and just take my hands onto the front of the box. I'm kneeling on my carriage right now to begin. I'm just gonna place my pelvis onto the box. My feet are right now up against the shoulder blocks. I want you to be able to have your feet up against the shoulder blocks here. Taking my hands onto the foot bar, and then I'm just gonna go ahead, bend my elbows wide, and I'm just bringing my chest parallel to the floor. Now again, feet have to be up against the shoulder blocks. I'm gonna take my toes just right towards the tops of the shoulder blocks. So when I'm here, I'm able to go like pointing my toes and pushing the carriage slightly out. So this is our starting position. Again, elbows slightly bent, chest parallel to the floor. I should be looking straight down to the floor so that your neck is in line with your spine. Toes are right on top of the shoulder blocks. Again, posterior chain warm up. I'm gonna exhale, point my toes so I'm pushing my carriage out with my toes, and then I'm gonna flex my feet so my carriage comes back in. Big flex. We're gonna exhale, point the toes, inhale, flex the feet, exhale, point the toes, inhale, flex the feet, and then eventually we are gonna really start to feel the backs of the legs into our glutes, so the whole backside of the body working here. Exhale, point, inhale, flex, point, and flex. We're gonna keep going. Now, while I'm here, I'm gonna think my neck stays in line with my spine. I'm lengthening through the crown of my head, and I'm drawing my abs in towards my back, so my core is active here. I'm not just relaxing my abs, they're always active. I'm gonna go for 6, 3, 2. Now on this last one, let's keep that little point of the toes. And now on my next exhale, I'm gonna push into my palms. So I'm lifting up into a small extension of my spine. And then I'm gonna inhale, bend my elbows, and just bring my chest parallel to the floor. Again, I'm keeping the point in my toes. I'm gonna exhale, push into my palms to lift up. And then I'm gonna inhale to bring my chest back down. Again, exhale, press, lift into that swan. And then inhale, bending our elbows wide as we return, keeping the point, again, of the toes the entire time. Okay, I'm gonna go for 3 and 1. Okay, now we're gonna stay up in this little lift. I'm gonna flex my feet again, point my toes, flex my feet, point my toes again. This time my arms are staying long. I'm staying lifted into that little extension. I'm still scooping into my abdominals here. Point, flex. All right, I'm gonna go for 4, 2, and 1. Okay, now once I come back down, I'm gonna relax my feet. They are gonna stay on the shoulder blocks, but I'm gonna bring them just all the way down so my toes are more on the carriage this time. And then from this position, I'm gonna squeeze my glutes and my hamstrings. I'm gonna take my hands together. They're gonna go right underneath my forehead. Hold here, and then we're gonna do a little lift of the chest, a little lower, a little lift of the chest, and a little lower. Again, working into the back side of the body. It's just a tiny lift and lower, tiny lift, lower. The toes are holding us on the shoulder blocks. I'm gonna go for 5, 3, it's an exhale to lift and inhale to go down. 2, 1, and then back down. Okay, now once we come down, I'm gonna bend my knees. I'm just gonna take my hands onto the box and I'm gonna step off to the left side of my carriage. So when we step off to the left side, we're gonna step up, we're gonna keep the springs the same. We're gonna step up onto our carriage with our right foot. Very carefully, we are gonna end up standing on the box. If you have an issue with balance, you can grab a dowel to hold onto, or if you're next to a wall, I would suggest holding onto a wall, because again, we are gonna stand on the box. Now, we're gonna step up with our right foot first, and we're gonna step up onto the box with the left. Okay, the wider we have our feet, the easier it's gonna be to push the carriage out and in with our legs here. The more narrow we have our feet, the more challenging it's going to be to push out and in. So we're going to work into abductors. I'm going to go feet, for me personally, just a little wider than my hips. And then from this position, my left leg is already bent. I'm going to bend even more into my left knee, sink my hips slightly back. So I'm hinging forward with my spine in a neutral position. And then from here, I'm going to bend my right knee slightly as well. The idea is the right leg is going to stay. I'm going to exhale, push the carriage out with my left leg, come in, push out with my left and in. So again, the right leg is staying still, left leg extends and brings it back in again for that abduction. So outsides of the legs, outsides of the glutes. Exhale out, inhale back. Now, same thing as our warm up, my abs are into my back here. So I have a nice active core. Push, resist, push, resist. I'm gonna go for 4, and then last one. Okay, now once we bring it back in, we're gonna pause in. We're gonna keep our carriages still this time. I'm gonna push into my left foot. I'm gonna stand up on my left leg. I'm gonna take my right foot back down, go back into a squat. Again, stand up on the left leg, right foot finds the carriage for a squat. Standing up and down. Think, rather than hopping off of your right foot, which you will a little bit, think dig your left foot into the box. So it's a lot of that left leg working to bring us up and controlling us down. Exhale up and inhale down. 3 more. And 2 and 1 and down. Now, left foot is gonna stay in the box. Right foot is gonna stay in the carriage. We're gonna rotate towards our foot bars. I'm gonna keep my left foot about center of my box and my right foot about center on my carriage here. Same thing, I'm gonna move from my left leg. So I'm gonna bend my left knee to push the carriage out. My right heel does lift up, and then I'm gonna push into my left leg to stand back up. And personally, I'm gonna keep my right heel lifted. I like it a little better. Bend into the left knee to sink down, push into your left foot to come up. If you want it heavier, step your right foot forward. If you want it lighter, step it back. It's an inhale and exhale. Find that control with the legs, glutes, and the core. I'm really feeling my whole left leg working here. Okay, let's do 3, 2, and 1. Now, just like before, my carriage is gonna stay in. I'm gonna push into my left foot. I'm gonna stand back up onto my box. I'm gonna take my right foot down into a lunge, and this time I'm gonna bend my right knee. So I'm gonna step up and down, up and down. And I'm bringing my right foot just a little further back this time. Again, I'm not trying to push off of my right leg. I'm trying to push off of my left. So the work is in that left leg to get up and down. Exhale up, inhale down, keep going. Arms can be wherever. 3, ooh, losing my balance here, 2, and 1. Okay, I'm gonna step my right foot onto the box, rotate to the left side of the room. Right foot is gonna stay about center, left foot goes down onto the carriage. Again, the wider we have with our stance, the easier it is to push out and in. The more narrow, the more challenging it's gonna be. I'm gonna bend both knees, sink into that squat. So my butt's back, but my chest hinges forward. I'm gonna go out with my right and in. So I'm trying to extend my right leg, and then I'm bending to come in. My left knee stays slightly bent the entire time. My torso does not move side to side here. It stays right down the center of my body. Exhale out, inhale back. Again, abduction away from the body, so outsides of the legs and glutes. Think a nice active core. Abs are in. Okay, I'm gonna go 4, and 1. Okay, then once I come back in, I'm gonna pause in. I'm gonna step into my right foot, step up onto the box, and I'm gonna step back down into my squat. Step into my right foot to go up and down, up and down. Again, I am using my left leg slightly, but think it's most of the work comes from that right leg to come up and to go down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, squat. Oop, try to keep that carriage still too. A good indicator that you're using your left leg too much, your carriage will kind of shoot outwards. Okay, 4. Oop. And 1. Whew. Okay, rotate towards the carriage. Again, right foot is gonna stay right about center. My left foot is gonna be about center too. I like to lift my left heel up. If you wanna keep it down, you can when you come in. I like mine lifted the entire time. Okay, work again is in that right leg. Bend your right knee, extend your right leg. Now, obviously we won't get to a full extension. Exhale to sink down, inhale, come back up. One side is definitely gonna be a little more challenging than the other. Now, just like before, if you want it heavier when you go out and in, step your left foot forward. Ooh, I gotta fix my box here. If you want it lighter, step it a little further back. And my right leg is definitely not my dominant side, so I have to focus a little more on this one. Ooh. Arms wherever. Let's do 3 more. 2 and 1. Ooh, okay. All the way back in. This time, we're gonna step up onto the box with our right foot. So ready? Use your right leg. Step up, step down. I'm bending. Oh geez. I'm bending my left knee when I come back down onto my carriage so I can get a little deeper into this lunge here. Okay, now my carriage is moving, so that means I'm using my left leg, my dominant leg, a little too much. So if you're like me, slow it down. Use that right leg to get up and down. And I am tapping my left foot on my box just because my balance is a little worse on this side. Ooh. My right leg is not happy. Okay, let's go. 5, 4. I can get deeper into that lunge. Last one, down and up. Whew. Okay, I stepped on the box last time. Feel free to step down onto your carriage with whatever foot you feel more comfortable with, and then step off. Now, we're gonna change to no springs. I'm gonna put one foot on the carriage just so it doesn't fly in. Take my box off, take my heavy spring off, and let my carriage glide back out. Box goes in the same spot. Now, once we get the box here, again, make sure your carriage is not on it. It's free to move without the box. And then we're gonna kneel on our carriages facing our boxes. Forearms are gonna be down. Woo, I'm out of breath here. Okay, so placement of the knees is up to you. You can either have them an inch or two away from the edge, or you can scoot them further back so that your feet are up against shoulder blocks. I go all the way back just because I am gonna end up hitting the back of my reformer, and I want them as far back as I can get them so I can get more range of motion. So if you do walk your feet to the shoulder blocks, you will get a little more range of motion here, which is technically more challenging. Forearms are down. I'm gonna start in a 4-point kneeling position with my shoulders over my elbows and my hips over my knees in a neutral spine. Abs are in. My arms are gonna stay in the same spot. I'm gonna inhale, push my knees out, and I'm gonna exhale and pull my knees back in. Again, inhale, the knees are gonna push. Exhale, I'm pulling the knees back in. I'm just making sure my arms stay in the same spot and I'm not collapsing into my low back when I push my knees out. So I'm able to hold that neutral spine. Inhale, push, and exhale, pull. Okay, I'm gonna go 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now once I come back in, I'm gonna pause in. The next time we push the knees out, they're gonna stay out away from us. So I'm gonna push my knees out, I'm gonna hold here, I'm gonna push my arms out, and I'm gonna pull my arms in. Now, my range of motion isn't very far just because I do hit the back of the carriage. So just know that's our stopping point. The knees, again, stay out the entire time. Abs are in. Inhale away, and exhale, pull back in. Push, pull. Okay, 3. And then last one out. In, and then the knees will come all the way back in. Feel free to give yourselves a little stretch. Now, we are gonna make those a little more challenging by coming off of our knees onto our toes. If it's too challenging, you can always stay down onto your knees. Forearms are gonna go back down onto the box. My toes are curled underneath me. Again, I have my feet up against the shoulder blocks here. Shoulders over the elbows, hips are over the knees. Abs are in towards our backs in a neutral spine. I'm gonna lift my knees just a couple inches off the carriage, hold. I'm gonna inhale, press my legs out. Exhale, bring them in. Inhale out, exhale back. Push and pull. Inhale, push, exhale, pull. Draw those abs in. 3. Last one. And then knees down, same thing. Feel free to give yourselves a little stretch. And then we're gonna move into some pikes after our break. I'm gonna keep my feet back up against the shoulder blocks. My toes are curled. My forearms are down onto my box. Same thing to start. We're gonna lift the knees a couple inches up. We're gonna stretch our legs out, hold. This time I'm gonna tuck my pelvis, hike my hips to pull my carriage in. Inhale out. I'm gonna try to tap the box with my carriage. Push out. Exhale, pike. Inhale out. Scoop and out. 3 more. Last one. And bend the knees, come down. Feel free to give ourselves a little stretch. Whew. Okay, so let's give our core a little bit of a break. We're gonna move into some arm work. We are gonna need to move our box again. So I'm gonna take my box off. I'm gonna add on a blue spring. So that's one medium spring on my reformer, which by the way is gonna feel pretty heavy. So if you need to go lighter than that, I would go to a light spring, but again, I'm gonna do a medium for mine. Once we get here, I'm gonna go ahead, put my box on the carriage this time, right up against my shoulder blocks, and then I am gonna put my foot bar back up to the starting position. We're gonna move into some push-ups on our foot bars, and then we're gonna go back into some core work. So careful when you get onto your box, because if you do come from the side, your box tilts. So I always come from the back. We're gonna kneel on our box, facing our foot bars. Again, one medium spring, but if you wanna make it lighter, you can always do a light. We're gonna take our hands onto the foot bars, and I'm gonna take my knees just like an inch or two away from the edge of my box. Then I'm gonna shift my weight forward. So my chest is over the foot bar, and I'm gonna push my knees back out into a kneeling plank. My abs are in. Okay, 8 wide push-ups. We're gonna bend the elbows wide, press up, wide, press. The range of motion is up to you. The only thing you have to do is 8 wide push-ups. I have 2 more. 1 and in, and then as always, if you want to give yourselves a little bit of a stretch back, you can give yourselves a little stretch back. Okay, the worst is next. Hands are going to go about shoulder distance away. We're going to do 8 narrow push-ups. Again, range of motion is up to you. My knees are going to push the carriage back out. My chest is over the foot bar. 8 narrow, big or small. You just have to do 8. The elbows need to go in to your ribs, not out to the sides. Abs are in. I have 2 more. 1 and in. Okay, then we're gonna take our feet onto the carriage and we're gonna sit on our boxes. Now, this is what I was saying. If it's too heavy with this medium spring, go to a light, especially if we have any shoulder injuries. I'm gonna reach behind me, grab my straps off of the pegs. As always, the long loops are light for the arms. The short loops are gonna be a little heavier for your arms. Once we get them here, elbows are gonna be into our sides, palms are flipped up to the ceiling, and I'm sitting up nice and tall on top of my sits bones. On an exhale, I'm gonna reach my arms out away from me, chest, shoulder height, and then I'm gonna bring them back down towards my belly button. So out and slightly up, and in and slightly down. Exhale out, inhale, return. We're sitting up nice and tall. Abs are in, shoulders are down and back. Good, for 3. And then last one. Okay, now once I come back in, we're gonna pause with our carriages in. I'm gonna go ahead, take my hands overhead behind my head. I'm gonna create a fist and have my fists come together for this. We're gonna hinge slightly forward, tricep extensions. I'm gonna exhale, extend, inhale, bend, extend, and bend. Exhale out, and inhale back. Abs should be in towards our backs with this little hinge forward. 3 more. And then last one. Okay, arms down to our sides, and we are gonna keep our straps. Okay, so from this position, this is more of a beginner position. We're gonna do those same 2 exercises, but we have the option now to make them either a little more intermediate or advanced. I will show you both. So I'm gonna switch to my long loops for this just because it is gonna be a little heavier. If you already thought that was heavy, again, I would go to a light spring just to make it a little lighter because it will be a little heavier because we're standing up. So straps are in your hands. Again, I'm gonna keep my long loops this time. I'm gonna take my hands to my sides And ever so carefully, be very careful when you do this. You're gonna stand up. Your carriage should not move. I'm bending forward. I'm gonna take my right knee down onto my box. My left foot is gonna stay in the carriage, and then you're gonna kneel nice and tall. So this is going to be your intermediate position, doing those same 2 exercises with the right knee down and the left foot down. If you wanna do more advanced like me, I'm gonna take my hands back onto the box with that little fold forward. I'm gonna find the headrest with my right toes, and now I'm gonna carefully stand up. And you can use the box for balance here. Elbows are gonna be into our ribs, palms are flipped up to the ceiling. Finding that balance either on your right knee or standing on both legs. We're gonna exhale, reach our arms out and slightly up, bring it in and slightly down. Exhale, reach, and inhale back. Again, you have 2 options for this: the intermediate position with the knee down, advanced position with the feet down. If you need to stay on your butt, you can stay on your butt. This is the last one. Exhale away and inhale back. Now, again, tricep extensions. So ever so carefully, hands are gonna go behind your head, create that fist. Hinge forward. I'm gonna bend my left knee to hinge slightly forward. I'm gonna exhale, extend my arms, bend, exhale, extend, and bend. Do not think that you have to get into a full extension for this if you can't. It's gonna be a little more challenging on that balance. I'm just gonna do 2 more. And 1. Okay, carefully take your hands back onto the box. If your right knee isn't on it, set it on. From here, very carefully, take your left knee down onto the box. So both knees are down, your hands stay on. Ever so carefully, I'm gonna take my right foot onto my carriage. And then again, if you want to, then you're here kneeling in this intermediate position, or you're taking your left toes behind you and you're standing up in this advanced position. So it's up to you. Elbows in, palms up. We're gonna exhale to reach out and up, and then inhale back. Exhale away and inhale, return. Find that stability in our legs, glutes, core. Make sure when you reach forward, your shoulders are staying down and back. So if you look at your camera, you're not doing this where you round through your spine. No, no, no. Exhale out, inhale in. I'm gonna do 3 more here. And 1. Okay, from here, triceps. Bend your right knee, hinge forward. Take those hands behind your head, create a fist. Extend the arms, bend the elbows. Again, this is gonna be a little more challenging for stability. Exhale, inhale. Get down on that left knee if you need to. Three more. Don't think that you have to get into a full extension either. I don't think I'm gonna end this one. Okay, carefully bring your arms down. I'm gonna just set my left knee down, and I'm just gonna drop my straps on the floor. Okay, I'm gonna take my hands onto the foot bar. I'm gonna step my left foot forward. I'm gonna sit my butt down onto the carriage. Now, we're gonna add on springs just so our carriages don't move. I'm gonna just add on all of my springs. Again, the only purpose for this is so the carriage doesn't move. And then I am taller, so I bring my box over my shoulder blocks. It's still flush. If you're shorter, I'd say like 5'8" or shorter, you can just stay in front of your shoulder blocks. If you're taller like myself, 5'9" taller, go over your shoulder blocks. So you have a little more space here. We're gonna sit on our boxes facing our foot bars. Feet go into the strap that's right down in front of us. I always take my feet about hip distance away from each other. I would go no wider than that. I don't want like a wide position with your feet. I want them about hip distance, maybe a little more narrow, maybe a tiny bit wider. We're gonna measure a palm's width away from us in the back of our box so that we have space to roll down. We can have more than that, just no less than that. Arms are gonna reach out in front of us, shoulders are down, collarbones are wide. Sitting up nice and tall. Starting at our pelvis, I'm gonna tuck my pelvis, send my tailbone towards the foot bar, and I'm gonna roll my spine down so that my sacrum, that lowest part of my back, touches the box. When I get here, I'm gonna inhale. On my exhale, I'm gonna start at my shoulders. I'm gonna round back up over my hips. When I get over my hips, that's when I'm gonna stack my spine back up. Again, start at your pelvis, tuck, roll down, send your tailbone towards the foot bar. Inhale when your sacrum hits. Exhale, go up over your hips. Inhale, stack your spines back up. Continue to go with this round spine. If you want to make it a little more challenging, hands behind your head, elbows wide. This makes it just a little harder. It's up to you where your arms are going to be at. Okay, we're gonna do one more like that. Okay, now this one, we're gonna go about halfway back. We're gonna hold. Again, the hands are either behind your head or out in front of you. Tuck your pelvis, little pulses up and down, little pulses. Keep that tuck, pulse the chest up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way back up. Relax. Keep your left foot in, take your right foot out, rotate to the right side. Side sit-ups. You have a couple of options with this right leg. My favorite position is when it's bent out in front of me. If that's too much for your left hip, which a lot of times it is, you can wrap your right leg behind your left and you will start automatically a little further to the well. Just a heads up, but it is a lot nicer on the hip. Make sure your left leg is long, your foot will catch you. Hands are either behind your head or in front of your collarbones. Ready? Side sit-ups. We inhale, we hinge the well, and we exhale to come up. Now, I do not come all the way up because there's no way I can keep my hips stacked if I'm coming all the way back up here. I don't like that. I like a little higher than halfway and down. Use those left obliques. 3 more. Okay, on this last one, go halfway down, hold, little pulses. 8, 7, 2, 1. Okay, now all the way to the floor, rotate your torso and stretch. Both hands should be on the frame of the reformer. If you want a deeper stretch, take the left hand to the right side and hold. Breathe. Okay, then we're gonna come all the way back up. And yes, I did use my hands to get up on that one. Okay, right foot is gonna go in the strap, rotate to the left side. Left leg can be bent out in front of you or you can wrap it underneath your right. Right leg is long, hips and shoulders are stacked. Hands behind the head or in front of your collarbones. Ready? Side sit-ups. Inhale down. Exhale, use those right obliques to bring you up. Control it down, control it up. We have 4 more. Okay, on this last one, halfway, pause, pulse for 8. 2, 1, all the way down, rotate towards the floor. Take your hands onto the frame. Again, if you want a deeper stretch, right hand goes to the left side. Hold. Okay, we're coming all the way up. We're gonna rotate back towards our foot bar and we're gonna do another stretch just sitting on your box, facing your foot bar. I'm gonna go right ankle to my left knee for a figure 4 stretch. If you would like to, you can fold over your leg. I always like to put my elbow on my knee just to push it a little further down. You should get a nice big stretch on the outside of your right leg into your glutes, right into that piriformis. Okay, and then we're gonna switch. Left ankle, right knee. You can always push your knee down. You can fold over. One side is definitely gonna feel a little tighter than the other. Okay, then we can go ahead, untangle our legs. We're gonna step off to the sides of our reformers, and then once we step off to the sides, we can go ahead, hang our straps back up onto the pegs. I am gonna step into the well of my reformer. We're just gonna do one stretch here before we take the box off. So step into your well, you're in the well facing the box. I'm going to step as far back as I can just so I can get as much of a stretch here. I'm going to take my hands onto my box. I'm going to step my feet back, and I'm just going to drop my chest down, and I'm going to hold this stretch. Feel free to have your hands as far out as you'd like. Okay, then we're gonna stand back up. While I'm here, I might as well just take my box off. It's gonna go back to their homes or just off to the sides. And then once your box come off, we're gonna do 2 heavy springs for feet and straps to finish. And it's just gonna be a light feet and straps. We're just gonna do some leg circles. So it doesn't have to be like a super heavy setting. Headrest can be up or down, that's up to you. We're gonna lie ourselves down onto our reformers, and then once I get down, I'm gonna reach behind me, grab my long loops, and they're just gonna go right onto my feet. Okay, when I get my straps on my feet, legs are gonna go up as high as I can hold my neutral spine. Feet are parallel with each other. They should be zipped together. On an exhale, I'm gonna lower my legs down towards my springs. I'm going to open them wide out to the sides to circle around and back up. I exhale to lower, and then I'm inhaling to circle around and back up. Sacrum stays heavy. The movement just comes right from the head of the femur in that hip socket. Pelvis should be staying steady too. Okay, last one. Then once we come back up, pause, and then we're gonna reverse. We're gonna open our legs wide, press them down around, zip them together, and then we're hinging at the hips to come back up. Again, maintaining my neutral spine the entire time. Okay, this is gonna be the last one. And then when I come back up, we're gonna pause at the top. Low back's gonna be flat down into the mat. Now, this is my favorite stretch, but if it doesn't work for you, you can always just stay with the hamstrings. I'm gonna bend my right foot. It's gonna go down towards the floor, and the strap should adjust itself here. I'm gonna let my left leg go out to the side. I like a deeper stretch, so I grab onto my straps and I pull a little more. So you should be getting a stretch in the front of the right leg, the back and inside of your left. Try to surrender into the stretch. Again, if it doesn't feel good, you can stay with hamstrings. You can do your butterfly stretch with the bottoms of the feet together, knees wide. Okay, then I'm gonna bring my left leg up first. I'm gonna fish my right foot off the floor. Same thing on the other side. Bend your left knee. The strap should adjust itself. Let your right leg open. I like a deeper stretch, so I grab both of my straps and I pull. You do not have to do that if it doesn't feel good. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Right leg can go straight up to the ceiling first. Left foot can come off the floor. We're gonna take our straps off of our feet. We will hang them back up onto the pegs, and then we can sit ourselves off to the sides. Okay, we are all finished with that workout. As always, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me today.